Good evening again, everyone. I'm Don Timmons. I'm with Hospice and Palliative Care Center and Rowan Hospice and Palliative Care. And I kind of inherited our Veterans Outreach program a couple of years ago, and we started Veterans Coffees across North Carolina. And this is a result of that. We started meeting a lot of World War II veterans, and we loved them, and we wanted to find out what else we could do for them. So you're here. I can honestly say there's no place in the world I would rather be than right here, right now, in front of you all and helping honor our World War II veterans. We have a lot to do. We want this to be an exciting, memorable night for our World War II veterans and for everyone that's here. I would like to take a moment to introduce our President and CEO, Linda Darden, and she would like to say a few words, and then we'll move along with the program. Linda Darden.
Thank you, Don. And I want to repeat the thank you to all of you for being here. To the veterans who are here who have served in any conflict, in any location, thank you for being there as well as being here. This is truly a privilege of the staff of Hospice and Palliative Care Center and Rowan Hospice and Palliative Care to be here, to honor these veterans, to honor everyone who has served. We get as much out of this as anybody present does. It is such a meaningful experience for us. As we've been planning this for months and months and months, we tend to get very reflective as well. I personally have been looking into the history of my husband's uncle who served in the Army and died in the Normandy campaign. He's buried over there in Normandy. I can see a lot about his military experience. I can find out. I can see morning reports from his unit online. I can see the names of the individuals he served with. I can tell you the exact row and plot where he is buried over in France. But absolutely nothing that I can find online compares to the experience of being here with you, hearing your stories, seeing your photos, seeing your medals and your uniforms, today even seeing a captured German flag. What an experience, and thank you so much for those of you who are present and who are sharing your stories and your experiences with us. Nothing could compare. I do want to take a moment also, and I'm going to misquote Milton for a minute and say, they also serve who type and telephone and plan and meet and schedule. And just take a moment and ask you to thank all of the individuals on our staff who have worked so hard to make this happen. There's too many names for me to call out. Folks who work for Hospice and Palliative Care Center, Rowan Hospice and Palliative Care, and all of our volunteers who made this possible. Would you please stand for a moment for a round of applause? And of course, many thanks to Don Timmons. Your energy and commitment to the veterans and to this event has really made this happen in a big way, and thank you very much, Don. And of course, the rest of the evening will be dedicated to those who've served in World War II, but I also want to take a moment and thank the staff of the Embassy Suites. You have been here with us side by side, planning this event, making it happen, and making it successful, and we are truly grateful. Thank you. So now I'm going to turn the microphone back to Don, and thank you. Please take this moment to appreciate those who are with us and to honor those who have served in any conflict. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And right now we would like to introduce the Northwest Cabarrus High School Air Force Junior ROTC, led by Lieutenant Colonel Calvin Martin and Senior Master Sergeant Corrine Smith. They are going to present the colors. We'll have the national anthem sung by Tiffany Ashton, Charlotte Music Awards 2016 reigning Songwriter of the Year, winner of the Carolina Music Awards, and freshman at Charlotte College. Tiffany.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Tiffany. If you remain standing for just a moment, we have our POW MIA flag over here. Let's have a moment of silence for the POWs, MIAs. And POW MIA Remembrance Day is September 16th, so we're really close to that. And while we're doing that, let's think of the families and also the troops that are out there right now protecting our backs. So let's have a moment of silence in honor of all of those folks. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Nick Oshner. He is with WBTV. He's going to kind of be running the show from mostly here on out. He's an awesome young man, a reporter, investigative reporter, and has a history, a long, important history of veterans and his family. Nick, where are you? Here he is.
Thank you, Don, and thank you all for being here. One, what a great turnout in this room. They said this room could hold like 500 people, and you don't realize how many folks that is until you see it here. This is a great event. And so thanks to Don, and thanks to Hospice and Palliative Care Center and Rowan Hospice and Palliative Care for having me and for putting this event together, and more importantly, for recognizing how important it is that we say thank you to the greatest generation, our World War II veterans, and really to all the veterans that are in this room and that have served our country and defended our freedoms. Like Don referenced in his introduction, I have a long history with the military. I'm a son of a Green Beret. His dad was a Green Beret, served in Vietnam. My mom's dad served in World War II as with the cavalry. And my uncle, my dad's brothers, finally about to retire after 33 years as a command sergeant major in the Army. I don't know what he's going to do after that. And so military and sacrifice is certainly something that I'm familiar with. My dad, Sergeant First Class Jim Oxner, was killed by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan in 2005. And I wear this bracelet every day to honor my dad and as a token of his sacrifice. My dad had been in the military for 18 years. He was on his 4th tour in Afghanistan when he was killed. He'd served in Iraq as part of Operation Desert Storm. He loved the military, and he loved to serve. And he loved military history. My dad was always reading books, and he was always teaching me things. You know, as an elementary and middle schooler, I was trying to talk to my friends about things like the Sante Raid and the Battle of Midway, things that most middle schoolers, elementary schoolers aren't talking about. But I was, because that's what my dad thought was important, that we honor and we respect and we know the history and military service, the service that many of you in this room gave. And so one thing that I was really fortunate to get the opportunity to witness growing up as a kid was to listen to my dad talk with my grandfather about his experiences in World War II. My mom and my dad married right out of high school. My dad joined the Army. They immediately got stationed in Germany, and 3 years later came back with this bundle of joy. And so the other day I was telling my mom that I was going to give this speech, and I was thinking about what to say, and my mom told me something that I don't think I knew. And she explained to me that my grandfather thought it was great that my mom married a soldier. He enjoyed hearing about what my dad was doing. He liked the fact that he was serving his country. And he talked with my grandfather my dad did, about his time in World War II, about his service in the military. But he didn't talk about it a whole lot. And my mom tells me that his service in World War II is not something that my grandfather talked an awful lot about when she was growing up. She knew he'd served, she knew he was in the Army, but she didn't really ever hear any stories. He didn't like to expound upon his time there. And so when my mom and my dad get married, and he's in the military now, he's in the Army, he talked about it with my dad some. But my mom told me something the other day that I thought was very, very interesting and very thought-provoking. She said that after my dad came back from Iraq, from Desert Storm, my grandfather started talking with my dad about his service in World War II. It's as if, my mom said, my grandfather suddenly respected my dad more, one, but two, knew that they shared a common bond of having been in combat, of having that experience, of making that sacrifice. And so years later, when I was old enough to sit around the living room and listen to these two men talk, listen to my grandfather tell stories from his service, I was very lucky. But I didn't quite realize how lucky I was until just recently. My mom told me he didn't want to talk about it. So I wear this bracelet as a token of my loss, of my sacrifice, as a way to honor my father. But many of you in this room, veterans who've served, don't need to wear a bracelet as a token of your sacrifice. You don't need a physical memento of your sacrifice, because you live with it every day in the stories that you have, in the memories that you have, in the experiences that you have, knowing what it's like to serve and defend people. I haven't served in the military, and because of the sacrifices of men and women like you all, I don't have to. I'm an investigative reporter at a TV station. But I know what it's like to sacrifice, and so do you. And so I want to join in the calls and the urging that you heard from Don a minute ago to share your stories, to tell other people about your experiences, to leave a legacy that people like me, in my generation, and people younger than me, can understand the sacrifice that you made, because we recognize that it is oh so great and oh so important. So I just want to take a minute tonight and thank all of you for what you've done, and for defending us, for doing courageous and brave things, some of which you've never even spoken about, because to you that was just what you had to do. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And with that, we're now going to move into the portion of the evening where we recognize all of our veterans, all of our World War II veterans who are here with us tonight. We're going to read a list. It's kind of long. In order to help this process go as quickly as possible, we ask that you please hold your applause until the end. Please hold your applause. And also, as we read the veteran's name, if you would like to just raise your hand, no need to stand or anything, but if you'd like to raise your hand in the room and be recognized by the room, that'd be great. But again, please hold your applause until the end. So, I'll begin reading these names here. Robert Aldous, Otto Bachner, Walter Barbie, M.J. Barger, J.Y. Barnett, George Bass, Grover Lee Beaver, Irving Beanstalk, Mildred Bourgeois, Burley Bowman, Daniel Bowman, Rose Maxine Bowman, James Brooks, Carl Bumgarner, Herschel Bunker, Floyd Burton, J.B. Caldwell, Pete Carroll, George Catalona, John Caudle.
Artis Cecil, R.J. Clark Sr., Dorothy Cole, James Coley, John Roy Coltrane, Clark Comer, John Connors, Earl Corral, Anthony B. Cogno, James Crump, David Culp, Norman Davis, Willis Bill Davis, Troy Day, James Deal. Hey, James. Norris Dearmon, J.D. Denning, Francis Fran DiRenzo, Don Duggan, Bill Edwards,
James Eford, Barney Engel, Al Estridge, Thomas Fairbrother, Michael Filippelli Jr., Hubert Foltz, Franklin Foster, Harold Frank, Jack Frank, Robert Orr Freeman, James Gilliam Sr., Albert B. Minder, Patrick Grogan, Charlie Haynes, Robert Harm, Tom Harrell, Thomas C. Harris, William George Hartley, Donald Hazley, Homer Hayworth.
Hubert Heggie, Fred Helms Jr., Brandon Henderson, John Henderson, Bruce Hinkle, Glenn Hoffner, John Hoppy, Don Ermiter, Staley Johnson Jr., Newman N. Jung Sr., Elwin Carew, William Carnes, Ray Ketchy, William Bill Kirkman, Ray Klutz, Van T. Klutz, Chris Lingerfelt, Gino Marco, Howard Marshall, Leonard Martin.
Richard Martin, Chris Mavro-Nicholas, Emerson McBride, William K. McCracken Sr., Fern Meyer, Paul Mills, Frank Montgomery, Ernest Benny Moore, Lawrence Moore, Willie James Moore, William Neal Morrow, William Bill Mosley, Harold Myers, John Novak, Charles Owens, Felton Page, Fred Douglas Parnell, Robert Patterson, Leo Brown Peeler, Paul Perryman, Jean Farr.
Thomas Neil Pfeiffer, Robert J. Phillips, Ted Pickle Sr., John Plank, Fred T. Poole, Homer Potts, Robert Prowler, Elijah Ransnick, Samuel Ray, Roy Rettinger, James Riggs, Harold Rimmer, Charles Buddy Robinson, Arthur Rogers, Lester Roseborough, Bill Sander, Harold Sappenfield, Arthur Schneider, Joe Seaman, Charles H. Scheschler,
Harold M. Seschler, Ted Shelton, Bud Shepard, Thomas Shook Jr., Thomas Garland Schuler, A.T. Tom Skeen, Crawford F. Sloop, J. Mac Smith, Bruce Snow, Ralph Stevenson, William Strickland, George Summers, John G. Teague Jr., Billy Trantham, James Trimatera, Purcell Trexler, John Tucci, Ray Van Haver, Mildred Vrooman, James Walker.
William Wall, Lester Watts, DeWitt Wells, Donald White, Henry Wilson, Sam Winstead, Frank Wright, Millis Wright, Jose Wyrick, Bill Young.
How about a standing ovation for these veterans? Great, thank you all.
But I would like to introduce retired Major General Cornell Wilson, U.S. Marine Corps. Where are the hoorahs? Secretary of North Carolina Veterans and Military Affairs, and he's going to introduce somebody else that you're going to be happy to see. General Wilson.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. What a great day for our World War II veterans to honor them. I'm a retired Marine, as he said, and I have a son that's in the Marine Corps, a son-in-law that's in the Marine Corps. And are any Marines in the house? Any Marines in the house? Hoorah! There we are. How about my soldiers? Any soldiers in the house? Hoorah! Air Force, you talk with your hands, so I understand. You wave them up, okay? The Navy, you're going across the seas. But in the Coast Guard, where's the Coast Guard as well? We love them as well. But I want to introduce someone that's a good friend of mine who is a very strong supporter of the military and our veterans. And he has done great work since he's been here in this job since 2013. And that person is Governor Pat McCrory, who is here tonight to make some greetings. The 74th governor for the state of North Carolina. Sir.
This is the best of North Carolina in this room, and this is the best of the USA in this room. You are my heroes. I'm turning 60 in October. So just do the math. When I was growing up, you were my heroes, not the football stars, not the basketball stars, not the movie actors. It was the greatest generation that saved my life and my country. And I wouldn't be governor today unless it was because of your generation, because of our world would be so much different without your sacrifice. And I just want to let you know, Secretary Cornell Wilson and I are focusing on doing everything we can to make North Carolina the most military-friendly and veteran-friendly state in the United States of America. And let me tell you, I've got several incentives based upon my own life. The first is my granddad was a World War I veteran. Like many of your fathers were World War I veterans. And I'll never forget him telling me the story that if you were in the first wave coming out of the foxholes, you had a 100% chance of dying. If you were in the second wave, you maybe had a 50% chance of living. And that's how tragic that war was, mainly in Belgium and in Germany. And then my father was a Navy pilot, and my father-in-law was a P-47 pilot in the Air Army, a colonel. And I listened to their stories and the sacrifice of not only them, but of their peers. And the minute, we have one veteran, by the way, who was at Pearl Harbor when Pearl Harbor was attacked. And he is in the room right now. And when Pearl Harbor was attacked, so many members of your generation, if you were of age, and some of you faked your age, immediately joined the military to fight for our country and its honor and our freedom. And those stories have stayed with me. And I might add, as I've walked around the room and I've had several of you hug me and I've hugged you, you've done me the biggest favor of my life because I'm hugging my dad again. And anytime you can hug your dad again, you'll take it, right? Let me briefly tell you in front of the World War II veteran another motive I have for working with General Wilson to help with military affairs and veteran affairs. And that is this, is that my cousin Paul went to Vietnam in 1968 from Camp Lejeune. And he landed on the second day of the Tet Offensive. And most of his platoon was wiped out. And when he came home, the Vietnam veteran did not get the welcome they deserved. You got the welcome deserved, but you didn't get the health care that you deserved. The Vietnam veteran was disrespected, and that has stayed with me for the rest of my life, watching the veteran coming home from Vietnam not get the respect that they deserve for taking the call of duty from our country. And the last reason I'm here is because my cousin Paul, his son is now a Navy SEAL 6 and his other son is an Army Ranger, and they've both gone to Afghanistan and Iraq on many different occasions. And I want to make sure when they come back home, they're going to be treated with respect and honor by our country, and especially right here in North Carolina. So I just want to tell you several things that the general behind me has done. First of all, he is the first Secretary of Military and Veterans Affairs in North Carolina history. We now have a secretary in my cabinet of Military and Veterans Affairs. It's not hidden in some department in North Carolina bureaucracy. And Cornell Wilson is the man. That's how much importance we put on it. The second thing I want to let you know is we put a lot of importance on this is because we want to make sure when the veteran needs health care, we're going to provide them the health care. When they need help, we want to help them and their families. And we also want to help our veterans get jobs. And so what we've done is cut through the bureaucracy here in the education establishment and sometimes even the work environment. If a person's coming back home from Afghanistan and Iraq and they've driven a truck in Afghanistan and Iraq, why are we making them go through training to drive a truck in North Carolina? It makes no sense. If you can drive a truck in Afghanistan and Iraq under fire, don't you think you can drive a truck in North Carolina? We do. If you can be a medic in Afghanistan and Iraq, don't you think you can be a medic right now in our hospitals and our emergency rooms? I do. Same thing with an electrician and a mechanic and other things that you learn being a member of the military. We've got a whole list of things that we're trying to do to help the veterans in North Carolina because we love you, we respect you. And as I leave you, I want you to know that when you renew your driver's license, like I know a lot of you are doing, I've met a 103-year-old Marine female in the audience, 103 years old at this table from Kannapolis, North Carolina. I think we have half of Kannapolis in this room right now. I do want to let you know, whether you drive or not, that if you want to go to the DMV and get a photo ID or a driver's license, I want you to bring your military papers with you, because on your driver's license, we're going to put veteran. So you don't have to take your papers to Rite Aid or to a movie theater to get discounts. You just pull out your North Carolina's driver's license and you can use that because we're going to put U.S. veteran on that. And we're proud that you're a U.S. veteran. We love you, we respect you, and thank God you were around and had the courage to fight. And you are the greatest generation. I love you forever. Thank you, and God bless America, and may God continue to bless North Carolina. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor, for being with us. Isn't it great to have the governor here tonight, everybody? we didn't want to get through the night without highlighting just what a great job Hospice and Palliative Care Center and Rowan Hospice and Palliative Care do, not only in providing great service to veterans at their time of need, but also as part of what they do in serving and caring for veterans includes all of this, things like the dinners tonight, the coffees that Don organizes and is so involved in. And so they're very much committed to caring for their veterans, and that's just a wonderful thing to have a nice corporate citizen that's doing so many good things to care for our veterans. So with that, I want to introduce Christine Brown, who's the Regional Vice President of Business Development with Hospice and Palliative Care. Christine?
Good evening. It's been great to see so many familiar faces and new faces this evening. Thank you for spending your time with us. Often people will say to me, Christine, why is hospice doing this event for the veterans? And I want us to pause, and I know you're eating, but one thing I want you to definitely take away from this evening is that hospice is about living fully until we die. We are about celebrating every single day that we're alive. So I would like to start with this celebration being in honor of the World War II veterans, but also the lives of every one of you in this room. With that, I will tell you that our team, as Linda said earlier, has gotten to know many of you during the planning. One day, we were talking about a gentleman that we were talking with for your program, and he had not ever been thanked by anyone. So I would like to pause and make sure that each of you did hear. There have been lots of thanks, but I want to make sure that you all hear how important your lives are. 22 veterans commit suicide every single day, and that is not okay. Every life matters, and I want to make sure that we take a moment and do a round of applause for every single one of you. Number two, many times people think that gifts are abundant. And I have learned through the course of working in hospice that some people have never been given a gift. Well, there's the gift of time, which we have with you this evening. But as you walked in this evening, we gave you all a commemorative coin. And we hope that this will be a symbolic token of thanks that you can give down throughout the generations, and that we always remember what you've done for this country. The other gift that we gave is a commemorative book. We hope that you will give this to your family and friends as well. In the course of us doing coffees over the past 2 years, some of you have learned and called me and said, Christine, we're learning more about our parents and friends than we ever did because we're starting to tell stories. So thank you for sharing. We hope that you enjoyed this book. I know many of you would like to have more. Just let us know, and we'll try to accommodate that. And then number 3, someone asked me, said, honey, what took you so long to finally throw us a party? And I said, well, Sunshine, I think we've thrown 2 parties in the course of a year. We're doing pretty good, I think. And that would be New Moon. He's sitting over here to my left. And he coordinated bringing 24 veterans here this evening. So with that, you heard Governor McCrory acknowledge Ms. Coyle, that is turning 103 next month. We also have Mr. Paul Mills, who is today is his birthday. So Patty Medlin, my counterpart from the Embassy Suites, she and I have organized for you all to have bundt cake for dessert. You will be having birthday cake, but I would like for us all to stop and celebrate and sing happy birthday. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everybody. Mr. Mills, to you. Mr. Mills, would you please stand? Thank you. Mr. Paul Mills, would you please stand? I don't know that I see him. He's originally from Mooresville, and the irony is there are no coincidences. I actually went to high school with his children. So with that, we haven't seen each other in a long time. But I would like to end by saying time is a gift. We recognize that. We hope that you remember that every single day is a blessing. We hope that this evening's celebration will give you an opportunity to reflect on the things that matter most. And I also hope that this evening is one of those memorable moments that will last you a lifetime. Thank you. Earlier, I shared that one of your gifts is this commemorative Spirit of 45 program for you to take with you. When we read through it, I recognized that many of you had served under Patton, and one of your gifts this evening is to meet his grandson. So it is my distinct honor to introduce to you Mr. George Pat Waters, General George S. Patton's grandson.
All right, be seated. It's funny, I came in tonight and I sat down at a table, and then they told me I wasn't at that table. I moved to the next table, and I had the honor of sitting with Sergeant Clark Connors. And he said, well, were you in World War I? So I really feel welcome. No, I was not in World War I. I did have the great opportunity of serving with the United States Navy in Vietnam, but I would like to I prepared some thoughts to share with you, and I would like to continue to share them while you enjoy your dinner. And mine gets cold, so that's okay. Don, you all have really honored me above anything I deserve to allow me to stand before the greatest generation heroes. This is taking me, quite frankly, out of my comfort zone. To be here and know that many of you veterans not only served with my grandfather, General Patton, but with the terrific leadership of those in the Philippines, Japan, and as well as those on the high seas with the Merchant Marines. This is a tremendously humbling event for me, but most of all, to be here with the spouses and the families, as well as some of the widows of America's finest fighting forces. This raises the bar further, and I hardly feel worthy to express a few thoughts. So that's why I brought the boots. I brought these boots for you all to see because they were what General Patton wore, as did many of your fine military leaders, as did many of you. His were shined. I know he liked to have his boots shined. I do shine these periodically for him, but I brought these just as a symbol to show you about General Patton and what he was made of. These are the boots he wore all through the war. I have the boots, and on my left hand I have the ring that he wore also throughout the war. But I'd like to share with you some more now about the life and what I've come to realize. I was born into the situation. My mother was Beatrice Patton. She was the firstborn, and she would probably be embarrassed to have realized that I did go in the Navy, because my father also was a general officer, a 4-star general, upon his retirement. But I had the privilege to serve like so many of you, and for that I'm very thankful. My grandfather, General Patton, was blessed because he had the best of the best. But also, as you look around and you see the veterans from the other theaters, you know they were the best of the best. America produces the best of the best. And this is why our flag flies higher and more gallantly and stronger than any other nation's. Every child is born into this great country. He is given one thing for sure, and that's freedom. No, the freedom that we got was not free. Many lay down their lives to make this happen. But the most important thing is it did happen. The freedom we enjoy today is a result of your efforts, your commitment to service and to your country. I also want to say that growing up, I was taught through my grandmother that we shouldn't honor just only the men and women overseas or on the high seas from day to day who suffered in the heat, the cold, and were exposed to the perilous dangers of war. But back home, have you thought about this? Back home were the mothers, the fathers, the wives, the brothers, the sisters, the sweethearts of the American fighting soldier. Think of their commitment, because like my mom wrote in the diaries that she kept, we had no idea what was going on with my father, who was a prisoner of war, or any of her aunts, uncles, cousins that were serving in the war. There was no way that any mother knew what her child was doing, so I hope that you will look at your parents, if they're still with you, or remember them in your prayers, that the sacrifice they made for you to serve was just as great as your service. The spirit of 45 celebration represents a day and time when we all stand still and we as Americans look to you and say, thank you, and may God bless you. Thank you.
How much history is in this room? I'm going to tell you. When you started sending in your little bios and we talked to you and heard your stories and where you were and what you did, it just makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. So I'm not really a numbers guy, but I took down some numbers. I thought this was important enough to do that. First of all, who are you? 64 of you, well, these are at least, because we weren't able to get information on everybody because we had some latecomers and everything, but 64 of you were in the Army, 42 Navy, 18 Army Air Corps, 12 Marines, 3 Merchant Marine U.S. Maritime, Mr. Moon, Coast Guard 2. Tonight we have with us 5 female World War II veterans. Yes. And we mentioned Dorothy Cole. She's not only 102 going on to 103, she is a Marine. How about that? Yes. And thank you all, lady veterans. We love you. Okay, prisoners of war. We have 3 in this room. And Pat's dad was a prisoner of war. My father-in-law was a prisoner of war. And I had an uncle who was a prisoner of war, all in Germany. Purple Heart recipients. 14 Purple Heart recipients in this room. Silver Star, 1. 1 Silver Star. Bronze Stars, and we have several who have multiple Bronze Stars. We have 33 Bronze Star recipients in this room. World War II. And additional oak leaf clusters with those Bronze Stars. We have 4. Battle Stars, we have 12. Distinguished Flying Crosses, 3. Air Medals, 8. Combat Air Missions. Combat Air Missions, 219 combat air missions. And I learned something at the coffees about what happens when a combat air mission comes back. They land, before they're debriefed, they get a shot of whiskey. Am I right, you Army Air Corps guys, that's pretty cool. But can you imagine? They needed it. We have actually two Pearl Harbor, I don't want to say survivors. I think maybe John Masson said that somewhere too. They were at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, the beginning of our entry into the war. We have 6 D-Day recipients. And the gentleman who is on the front of your brochure, your program, is one of them, Mr. DeWitt Wells. And yes. Who served under Patton. We have 6 in the room, at least 6, who served under General Patton, 13 at the Battle of the Bulge, 1 who was helped liberate concentration camps, 5 at Iwo Jima, at least 2 of them saw the raising of the flag on Mount Suribachi, 4 at Saipan, 2 Tinian, 9 Okinawa, 2 helped with the liberation of the Philippines, and we have 5 who were China, Burma, India. I know one of them. Where's Tom? He's over here somewhere. But yes. Okay, we have some slow learners here too, I'll have to say. We have 2 who were in World War II. No, we have 6 who were in World War II and Korea. We have 3 really slow learners who were World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. So, man, thank you for your service. Okay, we had 2 who were present at the loading of both bombs. We have Mr. Haynes, who was in the Pacific Ocean for 2 days waiting to be rescued because his ship was sunk by a Japanese sub. We have 1 who was a deep-sea diver, trained to be a deep-sea diver. That was a lot different from what it is now. We have 2 special guests here tonight also who were Holocaust survivors. And I would, if you all are out there, if you would stand up, I'd like to recognize you all too. I'm sure Mr. Beinstock also was a veteran, World War II veteran, and a Holocaust survivor. And that's kind of it. And then that's only our World War II veterans. We have Korean veterans who got medals and honors, and we have Vietnam veterans, and we have Afghanistan and Iraq and the Desert Wars and all that. So this house is full of history. So I am going to be seated. I know you're happy about that. And introduce our talented young ladies and entertainers for the night. Letters from Home. So we'll need to take these down, and we're going to have letters from home, and you all are going to love them.
At this time, we would like to pay a tribute to all of you in this room. What an incredible thing it is to be here on such a historical day with so many heroes in one room, and it is truly our honor. When we sing the song of your branch, whether you served in World War II, Korea, the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, any kind of time during peace times, doesn't matter, Vietnam, your service is so appreciated. And so when we sing the song of your branch, if you're able, please stand and be recognized. And if not, please wave your hands nice and loud so we can thank you for being the true heroes that you are.
United States Army.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the Army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the Army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, 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 hey, the Army's on its way. Oh, count off the cadence loud and strong. Wherever you go, you will always know that the Army United States Marines. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land, and sea. There's to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine.
United States Navy.
Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day through our last night on shore. Drink to the foam until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home. The United States Air Force. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, flying high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flames from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame or go down in the flame. Ain't nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
The United States Coast Guard.
So here's the Coast Guard marching song. We sing on land or sea, through surf and storm or howling gale. I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame and glory too. To fight, to save or fight, to die. I, Coast Guard, we are for you. Thank you all for your service to this country. And crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining